ladies. Are you ready? Are you ready for your first reading of Entre Nous, Between Us? A woman's guide to finding her inner French girl. Now, the reason I am sharing this book with you, number one, I love to read. That's a big joy of mine. But number two, here at The Elegant Life, we have a way of living that is very influenced by my time in France, and that is when I discovered my inner French girl. Now, I had been enamored since I was 8 years old and I learned how to speak French in Canada. I had been enamored with the French culture, with the French food, and yes, even with the French style that women tended to wear. But I didn't know the depths of how a French woman's culture cultivated certain things within her and how she viewed herself in the world and how she viewed living in general. And those really permeate into The Elegant Life. Now, we are very based on spirituality here, that is our home center, but we are also talking about the woman that we were created, programmed to be here at The Elegant Life. There's a spiritual component, but there's also the physical side. And they are interconnected. So when you start investigating the physical side that the divine programmed you to be, and you start expressing it in the way that the French culture has gifted French women, life is gonna be a whole lot better for you. Now, I wanna say one caveat here. I am not saying that all French women who live in France never have any issues with self-confidence or issues about how they look, anything. No, nobody is perfect. I will say that I lived in France and I interacted with multiple women, old, young, married, single, and there was attributes of all of them that were similar. I saw this pervasive in the culture, the energetic culture. So, ready? Let's start diving in to what some of these attributes are. If you peel back the surface details, these essential qualities emanate like spokes into every aspect of the French girl's life. They influence how she carries herself, the clothes she wears, the men she brings into her life or doesn't. They shape her self-image, what she reads, how and what she eats. They temper her experience of sensuality, her notion of time, and the tenor of her family life. Like the smooth surface of a river stone, many of these qualities have been honed by centuries of culture and civilization. And still, many of them can be cultivated, to each woman her own little private garden. And in the following chapters, we'll explore how. For now, just what exactly are these quintessential qualities and how do they shape the French girl's perception of herself and the world at large? Number one, and this might really trigger some of you, so listen, she is self-possessed. If you strip away the stereotypes and contradictions about her, one of the fundamental qualities associated with the French girl is her sense of self-possession. She is entirely, unequivocally self-contained. She is focused on living her own life, following her own agenda and cultivating her actual self, rather than reinventing herself or pining away to be someone she's not. This goes back to that programming. Throughout her life, she invests in herself, in learning and experiencing, not to change who she is, but to become more fundamentally and more fully of who she truly is. Taking her cues predominantly from within, from the life of her mind and the exercise of her critical intelligence, she is imbued with a strength of character and a certain sensitivity because she is sure of who she is on the inside. She naturally, inevitably appears sure of herself on the outside. There is also a lovely dreamy paradox about the French girl, and it's this. In having a strong sense of self, she's able to let go of herself. That in being self-contained, she's able to be vulnerable, all without unraveling at the seams. It's that mélange of sensitivity and sang-froid. Sang-froid means cold blood. So she's sensitive, but she's got a cold blood that so delicate lingers around her like a subtle aura. So she's got this strength, but she's very sensitive and sensual inside. And every choice she makes underscores this basic relationship to herself. The French girl tends to her personal private garden with dedication. By taking care of herself in ways both large and small, she's free to take care of others, free to focus on real living rather than rushing through the essentials. She understands that being of service to others is contingent on being of service to herself. There is nothing accidental here, nothing random in her composure. It is the result of an awareness of and a commitment to herself. So that's where I'm going to stop today, and I'm going to say that your little elegant assignment today, ladies, is to take this and start practicing this inner French girl of yourself, this self-knowing of what you are, who you are. And maybe you say, Erin, I don't know. Don't worry, that's all going to come. But take care of yourself. That's the one thing. When it says tend to her private garden, it means she is her private garden and everything kind of around in her surroundings. If you like a beautiful space, but your house is a little untidy right now, make it beautiful. If you need to, I don't know, shave your legs, shave your legs. Tend to your private garden. Do a hair mask, do a facial. Tend to you today. And you might have to tell everybody in your family, I'm having a bit of alone time right now. I'll see you in 1 hour. You are the one who commits to being self-possessed so that you can come out and bring the best of you, the most interesting you, the most authentic you to everybody else in your life. You'll see where all this is going, okay? Enjoy tending to your own private garden today. See you tomorrow.